Ah, good morning, boys and girls. Welcome to whatever the fuck this is. I'm your host, Brock, aka Broccoli, aka Brockwurst, Brachiosaurus Rex, the big Brock, the big Brocker. Stop cocket Brocket. All right, enough of that. I hope you enjoyed the countdown. Feels like there's some sort of bomb that's going off. But today I want to talk about aliens and weird shit and Project Bluebeam, which you might not even know what the fuck that theory is or what I'm talking about. So, I mean, what else are you doing? It's hot as fuck outside. It's 93 degrees with 88% humidity. So, when you go outside, it's like a moist, warm air hug. My thoughts and considerations to everybody who's got to work outside in this shit. I feel terrible for you because it's fucking awful outside. Later on, I'm volunteering myself to go outside, but for fun reasons. We're going to the Muni. We're going to watch fucking Little Shop of Horrors, which is probably one of my favorite musicals. I'm a little bummed that Rick Moranis won't be there, but if aliens need a car, they can come shop with Arch Auto Sales. We finance everyone. What up, Derek? Enzo. Should log your name in there, man. At any rate, you probably thought I was going to come on here and talk about the crazy shit that happened in Lima yesterday, but I figured we talked about that enough. You know, people doing crazy shit, but that's for another day or another video. I want to talk about aliens. All right. So, in case you missed it, yesterday there were congressional hearings about aliens and basically a whistleblower. I'm pulling it up so I can be more in tune here. House panel holding public hearing on UFOs Wednesday. Yesterday, a House Oversight Subcommittee covered Wednesday's hearing on UFOs as the lawmakers who pushed for the hearing are calling for government to be more forthcoming about the unidentified anomalous phenomena. UAP. They're not UFOs anymore. They're fucking UAPs. People have been seeing a lot of shit lately, man. People don't know if they're foreign drones, if it's an urgent national security problem, but all the government's talking about basically is spending money. Money. That's what they were talking about. While I caught it in yesterday, they're basically like they have a retired military personnel who's basically saying he's whistleblowing on the whole aliens exist thing. And when the Congress asked him, have we ever had any interactions with UAPs? They said yes. Have we ever found any crashed or shot down any UAPs? He said yes. He said, have we ever found the pilots or the people or the whatever was flying these? He said yes. They couldn't answer any more than that. And then he said that they had organic material from said UAPs, right? So that shit is trippy. Now, I'm a very not trust the government type of person. Okay. So I too am skeptical when the government tells us some shit. Usually, when they tell us some shit, it's just a blatant lie. There's some sort of agenda behind it. And you know what? The weird thing is, I believe in aliens, and I believe that the government has an agenda behind their sudden admission of aliens existing. Okay. Basically, I guess like 2 years ago, like there was footage released from a military naval ship of some weird orb thing that was flying unlike anything that we've seen fly on the planet to this point, like shit that planes can't do, the best planes that we have can't do. Also going underwater without losing speed or creating much disruption in the water, which, you know, is mind-blowing shit because there's a lot of resistance in water. He also said he'll show proof after the hearings. He also said he'll show proof in private to the senators and politicians and shit that were there at the hearing. Okay. So, like, they're privy to information we aren't. And I'm really sick of that shit. You know, just to say, I think that the American people should be told the truth about everything. I don't think that there's anything that the government should be privy to that we aren't. And I understand to be like, oh, it's just for the general good. Fuck you. It's not for the general good. It's for your, you know, you're protecting these secrets for your gain or your benefit, man. This shit's never for any world. And why not show the whole damn world? But let's not get ahead of ourselves, okay? Let's just cover, let's go backtrack. We went congressional hearings yesterday. Basically, got a whistleblower saying that there are aliens. We've shot them down. We've found crashed alien ships and that we have organic material from said alien ships. So, with that being said, I think that it's hard to assume as a human being that there aren't aliens out there. I think it's a grandiose idea to sit on your ass, look into space, and think that all of the universe was only designed for humans. Okay, there are fucking galaxies and solar systems beyond measure out there. The universe is an ever expanding thing, and the other side of that coin is I think they could lie to us and tell us anything that they wanted about space and about places that we'll never go to as a human being because we will believe a lot of shit. So that being said, I believe in aliens, but is the government using this shit to fuck us over? Is the government using this shit as, an agenda, a way to move things along of sorts? Well, it depends on who you ask, because there are crazy conspiracy theories centered around this, and they involve people like Stanley Kubrick and the United States government, and then incredible technologies that would be able to create holographic images, to create fake images that would convince humans that we were under attack, with the overall goal being to unite the human race under a single government and a single religion. Crazy shit, right? I mean, we've all talked about like New World Order shit and like Illuminatis and fucking, secret societies and the people who really call the shots. I read about the shit constantly. It's one of my favorite topics and things to do. I like to fucking, I don't know, man. I want to know the truth. And I think that we as humans know very little about what's actually going on, and that we've already been mind controlled in a sense because we've been taught everything that we know by the powers that be. And they could tell us whatever they want, man. They told us all kinds of crazy shit that as adults we know isn't true now. I mean, I can remember for a long time in my life, they taught me that Christopher Columbus discovered America. I mean, as you start to gain intelligence, you realize that it's impossible to discover a place that was already inhabited by a bunch of humans, a bunch of descendants from Asia, clearly, or that particular region, and that we created a genocide to take this over and do whatever it is we're doing now. So, what is true and what isn't? Who knows? I don't know. I can't tell. I can't tell, because like part of me wants to be like, yo, the government's telling us that there's aliens because there's aliens, right? Like there's a lot of things that say that there would be aliens. A lot of people who see shit. I personally have witnessed something in the sky that I couldn't explain. And it was during broad daylight, and it was just a couple of months ago. And you know what? My wife was with me too. And I'm always under the influence of marijuana. So before anybody says that it was the pot or something, like I don't see UFOs on a regular basis. I'm not calling this thing that I saw a UFO, but I saw some shit myself. You look out into space and you see all this shit and you think you're the only people out here. Usually it's tied to religion. A lot of people really like the religion sort of tells us that the heavens and everything around us was made for us because we were God's favorite beings or whatever. And there's lots of religions that say crazy shit like that. And I say crazy shit because to me, it's kind of a weird idea, some of those religions. Most of them preach some sort of dislike or disdain for other people. And there's a punishment and reward system for being a good person, which I don't need, so I don't indulge in. If you're into religion, great. It's just not for me. I don't want to really talk to you about it because the only way I can really talk to you about religion is by being condescending, because to me, I feel a little naive believing that there's some old guy who watches me do good or bad things and that I'll be punished after I die by going to heaven or hell for those bad things or good things that I did. Oh, and I have to admit that a lot of these gods are my daddy, and I have to surrender myself to them or I'm not getting in also. That's some weird shit to me. Anyway, let's stay focused. Aliens. You guys want to hear about some shit called Project Bluebeam? Yeah, it's some crazy, crazy shit. And it's probably some of the craziest shit you've ever fucking heard of. I guess this guy's name is Sergei Monast. His Project Bluebeam makes today's conspiracy theories look sane. That's the article that I'm referencing. It's by a fucking publishing group called All Things Interesting. Okay, and I just pulled it from him because it's sort of like scoffs at it. And I like to read the other side of the conspiracy theories where the people just try to debunk it or treat it like shit. I like that, you know? So in 1994, this is 1994, Sergei Monast, a writer and investigative journalist from Quebec, published an alleged manifesto of sorts explaining this wild theory that has remained infamous in certain circles to this day. According to Sergei, the four-step project designed by NASA and the United Nations would allow these organizations to accomplish what they believe to be their ultimate goal of creating a new age religion led by the Antichrist in order to start a new world order dictatorship. NASA would implement Project Bluebeam. Monast believed with a system of advanced mind control as well as top secret technology in order to trick everyone into believing there'd been a second coming of sorts. But first, step one of Project Bluebeam would involve the manufacture of artificially created earthquakes in strategic locations around the world. These earthquakes would, according to the conspirators' hoaxes, unearth artifacts indicating that the religious doctrines of all nations have been misunderstood for centuries, thus discrediting all religions. Now, what I want to also point out to you in a quick pause, real quick, is that yesterday, during those congressional hearings, this whistleblower also said that in Antarctica at the South Pole, there is incredible technology down there that is capable of high energy distribution. That it's a telescope and a transmitter. And with this transmitter, they can create high energy weaponry that can do shit like cause earthquakes. And this gentleman said that they caused the earthquake that happened in Turkey. Now, if you need me to, I can go and reference those videos or you can look them up yourself. But just for the sake of keeping shit moving, let's go look. I'm explaining to you what Project Bluebeam is right now, Alexis. Good timing. Monast claimed that movies like 2001: A Space Odyssey had already laid the psychological groundwork for this step by presenting stories in which mysterious, unearthed objects upend everything humans know about themselves and their world, which I believe that we don't know jack shit about ourselves and the world, even though we've been taught all kinds of shit that we believe blindly. And we're told that science corroborates it. And we're just like, yeah, okay, man, that's the truth. That's how it works. Like gravity, for instance, you know, no one can really replicate gravity. We explain it off by saying that the density of the earth is pulling us towards the center of it, but we can't make any models on the planet that replicate what's going on there. So gravity is still unknown how it works, really, if you ask me. But we swear that we know how it works because Isaac Newton got hit by a fucking apple in his head. Okay, I think that this maybe says there's something more to head injuries, but let's keep it moving. The second step, Sergei claimed, would involve a gigantic space show. During the stage of Project Bluebeam, three-dimensional optical holograms, as well as laser projections of holographic images, would beam across the sky. What would these images include? Projections of Jesus, Muhammad, Buddha, Krishna, etc. will merge into one, Monast said. Monast explained that the technology behind this display, saying that the conspirators would use space-based laser-generating satellites to project simultaneous images to the four corners of the planet in every language and dialect according to the region. As the whole sky is transformed into one massive movie screen, this new god would speak to everyone in their own language. Next, the third step is where mind control would take center stage. Telephonic communication devices would send waves to reach each person within their own minds, convincing each of them that their own God is speaking to them from the very depths of their own soul. How would these rays be able to reach people's inner minds? Monast explained. Such rays from satellites are fed from the memories of computers that have stored massive data about every human on Earth and their languages. The rays will then interlace with their natural thinking form, what we call diffuse artificial thought. Finally, the fourth step of Project Bluebeam, I feel like I'm mulling over this shit, but basically, I also want to reiterate that mind control is already in full blast. You know, like we could try to pretend that it isn't. We really can, but look how well it works. The media, which has your attention 90% of the day these days, through your phone, through the news, through the signs that you drive past, it's everywhere, okay? Subconsciously affecting the way that you think. All they have to do is go on here and tell you that Jason Aldean made a racist song and everybody's up in arms. They're talking about how he either is a racist or he isn't a racist. But let's be honest, that song's been out for months now and no one gave a shit until the mind control device told you to. myself included. I did a video a couple days ago on the Jason Aldean video. I don't care to talk about it anymore because it's over with and I moved on. And we're talking about fucking aliens now because life comes at you fast, bro. All right. But Project Bluebeam with the mind control. I mean, all they would have to do is come over here, make a broadcast. We don't even have to fucking blast it on the sky. Look how well COVID worked. You want to talk about mind control? We just went through some shit a couple of years ago that everybody seems to either have forgotten or not want to talk about, where we were all convinced that we were going to die unless we got this fucking jab, right? And now I don't see anybody really promoting that. I don't see those ideas. Matter of fact, New York just shut down their vaccine fucking passport program. That cost a bunch of millions of fucking dollars. I mean, they told us to stay home. They told us we couldn't go to work. They told us we couldn't do this and we couldn't do that. And we all fucking listened. So the idea of mind control to me isn't that far-fetched. It's mind control. I mean, basically, we could change the word marketing to mind control, but we won't because marketing sounds way better. You know, we're appealing to you and getting you to consume a product by marketing it to you, AKA motherfucking mind control, right? Like, so I don't think that this shit is so far-fetched at this point. What's cool to me, though, is that this guy said this shit in 1994 without knowing what the future of computers and artificial intelligence and data harvesting would be, right? I mean, or did he? Like, shit is weird, isn't it? I mean, how long do we work on these things? It's not about short sprints. It's about the long haul. And it makes me wonder if the whole C-19 thing wasn't fucking, a test to see how well we could be controlled. How mindless are we? The answer? Fucking almost totally mindless. We are a hive animal. Okay, we are a fucking herd creature and we do what the other herd creatures do. And it's fucking scary when you think about it because I don't like that shit. Usually when I see the herd going one way, I'm trying to go the other. I don't know why. It's just I don't really like shit that everybody else likes. I'm wired a little differently, maybe. I don't know. But I don't like to go the way the herd's going because I know what happens to herds at the end of the corral gate. Okay. So back to this Project Bluebeam. The fourth step of Project Bluebeam would make use of various technologies in order to convince people that alien invasions and the rapture itself were taking place, thus making it easier for the powers that be to take control of a fear-addled populace. The NASA Bluebeam project is the prime directive for the New World Order's absolute control over the populations of the entire Earth. I would suggest you investigate this information carefully before dismissing it as a fanatic lunacy, Manass said. The modern following of Sergei Manass's theory and the end of his life, aside from this main thrust of Project Bluebeam, other elements of the theory remain noteworthy, especially for conspiracy theorists as well. For instance, one component included the phasing out of cash. Here we are. Fuck me, man. As I read more about this, it just all seems to kind of fall into place. And let's not forget that this is an older article that I'm referencing also. For instance, one component would be phasing out of cash. Manass said that the plan would be executed after a financial crisis. Not a complete crash, but enough to allow them to introduce some kind of in-between currency before they introduce their electronic cash to replace all paper or plastic money. Cryptocurrencies, anyone? Then there's the disputed story of Manass's death. It has been reported that he died of a heart attack without having any previous heart problems, and one of the methods of killing supposedly used by Project Bluebeam was artificially created heart attacks. Which, by the way, we've been seeing a lot of heart attacks and strokes and shit lately. I'm not saying that this is the same thing, but when LeBron James, superstar future athlete's son at 18 years old, drops during practice of a heart attack, you got to wonder what the fuck is going on. And, I brought up a subject earlier about it. And since I don't want to catch a ban or get in, like somebody's pissed off right now trying to figure out a way to report me so I could stop spreading this nonsense. Form your own opinion, man. Let's let everyone talk, though. There's also the claim that the night before his death, Manass's children, who were homeschooled, were abducted and placed into a state school before Manass was arrested. He spent the night in jail, and his children weren't heard from again, some claim. If you believe that, and if you believe any of this entire theory at all, the final line of Sergei Manass's Project Bluebeam manifesto will certainly ring true. That no one is safe in a totalitarian police state. So, if you go and you look at Project Bluebeam, and that was just a short summary, a real quick kind of thumb over of what the plan could be, it all kind of makes sense. And it all kind of looks like that's actually what's going on. Let's not forget that we just went through a global crisis where everybody was dying. Remember? Oh my God, COVID's going to kill everybody. In hindsight, it looks like maybe we killed more people than COVID did. And I know people dispute that shit, but the treatments that we gave weren't helpful. They were harmful. The things that we didn't make any fucking sense. We all know it now in hindsight. Whether you'll admit it or not, it's up to you. But like looking in back, man, what else did COVID do? It crashed us financially. Let's not forget that the government, i.e. Donald motherfucking Trump at the time, who was the president, wrote his names on the checks, remember? Dropped a stimulus check for everybody, which everybody thought was great because we were at home and we weren't working and we needed money. And what are we going to do? Well, hey, we'll give everybody some money. Well, what you do when you introduce a ton of currency to an already established currency and you don't have any new products or fucking any kind of backing to this, you devalue the current currency. So all this shit is kind of just fallen right in place. And I suggest that you read more about things like Project Bluebeam. Because you know what? I like the fact that whenever I make a post like, do you believe in aliens now? People say things like, I don't trust the government. So no, if the government told us, no, I like this, man. Some people might say it's unhealthy, but we are supposed to not trust these motherfuckers. All right. They were supposed to listen to us. We're not supposed to listen to them. They're supposed to be scared of us. We're not supposed to be scared of them. And what is happening? Those are our fucking employees, man. You know, all this shit would be cleared up if we didn't give these people so much power. If we didn't allow ourselves to be so controlled. You know, these are the things that I like to preach, man, is that the truth of the fact of the matter is that we're not protected. We're not safe. We're not getting a return on our investment when it comes to the government. And the only people that we can depend on is ourselves. And if you want to see change, then you've got to be the change that you want to see. I'm not trying to preach to you, but everything that I'm saying corresponds with this. Because when the shit really goes down and things get really weird, the only person you're going to be able to depend on is yourself. And if you're an adult like me and you have children and people around you, you're going to have people that are depending on you and looking to you to lead them and make good decisions. What are you going to do? Are you ready for that kind of shit? I mean, how much food do you have in your house right now? Like if things were to get weird, if aliens were to come, if there was a natural disaster, how many days of food do you have in your house? How many days of water do you have in your house? You have to have these things to live. I mean, now we got people convinced that you can't even survive on the planet because it's too hot and shit. Now, I'm not trying to be one of those people that are saying I'm not a climate change denier. I'm not any of that shit because the climate changes here a lot. It has through the cycle of the earth. We've been taught that. We can see that through geology, you know, so you got to assume that it's not done doing cyclic things, right? I mean, we could experience another ice age. Who knows? But all I'm saying is, how ready are you for shit to go freaky? I don't have anything to advertise or anything to tell you to buy. I'm just asking you. If I had any suggestions to you, it'd be to go to the store and buy some provisions that you could put away that could store for a long time that might not appeal to you now, like plain rice. It's easy to store, keeps for a long time, and, you know, it'll help you. We can eat the aliens. It depends, man, because if the aliens aren't real, you can't eat those guys. The government will come and get your food and water. There's a very good chance that's true too. They can certainly shut that shit off, can't they? And you know, we'll all say that the grid and all the commodities are ran by private corporations, but those private corporations have bought and sold and paid for the government many times over. So, you know, those are the same people. So they can definitely shut off your resources for sure. And they have, and they will. You know, we've been really super comfortable as humans, man. We've had a great go. Like the last couple 100 years on the planet haven't been terrible in comparison to what they teach us in history. But that could change, and it could change in a hurry, man. And I'm not trying to scare anyone, but you know, the truth changes every day, man. And it's a weird thing, isn't it? Like a couple of years ago, they were like, nah, there's no aliens. Now you got the government. They're like, fuck yeah, there's aliens. They're all over the fucking place. We got crashed ships. We got weapons down in the South fucking pole that can do crazy shit. That can create fucking explosions and earthquakes and shit. We have weather machines, HAARP. Oh man, so many conspiracies. And I love doing conspiracies. I'm only going to do 30 minutes today. I hope that I've stimulated some thought. or some ideas for you guys to go maybe read more about. Maybe go to YouTube and type that shit in. I know people are like, YouTube's not a good source of information, dude. There are no good sources of information, according to you guys, unless it corresponds with your opinion. So fuck off, okay? Go to YouTube, go to Rumble, go all over the place. Type in Project Bluebeam, read more about it. Look up the congressional hearings that happened yesterday, because most people don't even know that shit happened. They're just like, what? Aliens? Huh? Yeah. As soon as I got a big ass alien tattooed on my leg, as soon as I got to the golf course yesterday, a guy I've only golfed with once said, so how you feel about that shit that went down today? I was like, hell yeah. We had a great talk about the aliens. I love golf. Love aliens. We need to learn to provide for our own lands. Man, there's all kinds of things. I don't want, we have generations of kids that can't change a tire. That is the parents' fault. And you said parents do better. Now, we need to do better. I guess a quote that I heard in the last couple of days was that we need to prepare our child for the path, not prepare our path for the child. And, that makes a lot of sense, man. And I hope that fucking sticks in your head more than anything else that I've said, because that is the ultimate truth. The world does not give a shit about your feelings. The world does not give a shit about how you feel or where you're at in life. They just want you to do the things that you have to do. And they expect that shit now, and they don't care about anything else. So you got to get your kids ready for that shit, man, because it's a tough place out there. We're making these kids that can't do shit except for fucking play video games. It drives me nuts, man. They wear headphones all over the fucking place, man. Fuck. We really are kind of, and that's that mind control device that's doing it, okay? Because the big difference between today's kids and yesterday's kids is that I didn't have a tablet, okay? My parents wanted me to be quiet. They had to find some shit for me to do or tell me to find some shit to do, and they did. Because if I couldn't find some shit for me to do, they'd find some chores for me to do. So I found some shit to do. You guys remember. I feel like we had it the best, man. We got the best of the end. I'm glad that I was raised in a world as a child without technology and without tablets. We had tech. We had Nintendos and Ataris and shit. But if we played it for more than 30 minutes, our parents would freak out, hit us with a stick, tell us to go to fuck outside. We'd jump on our bike. We'd ride miles away. And I was doing that shit when I was like 8, 9 years old, okay? I didn't get raped, kidnapped, or molested. Never, not once. And you know what? We'd find all the other kids who were busily, actively doing shit by where the bikes were piled up. I miss that shit, man. Take that tablet from your kid. Take the fucking headphones out of the kid. Go do something with that kid. Find a mutual interest. Find something that kid likes to do that actually involves physical activity or moving around at the very least, and go do that shit. And talk to your kid. Talk to him like a fucking equal. Talk to him like a human. Teach them about the future, because, man, I hate to sound like an old person, but today's kids, oh, fuck, man. They scare me. Situational awareness, 0. Fucking problem solving, 0. Fucking first person shooter, 9. Fucking block stamping, stacking champion in Minecraft, 8. Come on, man. That's exactly right, Facebook user. It's all designed for mind control. And the corporations are running the show, boys and girls. They are running the show. Whoever the fuck the proverbial they are. They usually meet at the Bilderberg, and they have the fucking big meetings of all the billionaires and tech fucking Nazis. And goddamn, man, you got to read a little bit about the shit, because, Bohemian Grove just happened. That's some weird shit where, like, politicians in Hollywood goes and dress up some weird suits and outfits with cloaks and does these weird druid rituals and shit. Go read about all that shit, man. But that's it for me today, boys and girls. I hope you have a great fucking Thursday. I hope you have a great day, no matter what day you watch this. If you watch this 10 days from now, I hope that you fucking have a great day, even then, okay? Thanks for watching. Thanks for listening. Go Google some shit. Get smarter. I love you all. Goodbye.